Good afternoon, everyone, and good morning to those on the European continent. We hope that you've had a good week so far and a safe summer. Welcome back to the fifth sequence of the ATF Flock-In Series 2020 and our last episode for the highly insightful tracks that have certainly given some much-needed industry intelligence. This 45-minute session today will give us an update on the rather dynamic market that China has evolved into. We are privileged to have with us a unique lineup of speakers from significant industry capacities in China. With us today, we have To Yin, co-founder and executive vice president of Linmon Pictures, Lester Hu, head of formats and international business R&D center at Hunan TV, and Manman Chen, COO and Creative at Wekids. We are also really excited to have Paul Youngbluth, Director of Tape Consultancy, who joins us as session moderator. He will begin the session with a quick overview of the market, sharing some exclusive statistics. Let's welcome Paul as we begin this session.
All right. Good morning. Well, thank you very much, Lunita. Thank you for the introduction there. And I don't often get a chance to say this, but good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, as we're all in different time zones. I'm having my morning coffee and everyone else is getting ready to end their day. But anyway, I hope you're all sitting comfortably. I'm honoured to lead this session today, and I hope this gathering will offer you some valuable insights into the media and entertainment industry within China. The title for today, Partnering China. What are they looking for? What are the buyers wanting? So the goal is really to try and take a look at the market and just kind of get into the mindset, if you like, of some of the significant content players there, and to just understand the current state of content alignment in the market. So I'm going to begin with a little presentation put together just to give you a quick overview on the market. So if we can begin the presentation. I should probably start by just explaining who I am. As Lunita said, my name is Paul Youngbluth. I'm a director of Tape Consultancy. That's a London-based qualitative content research company with over 40 years of experience in the global television market. And apart from delivering a host of reports relating to the TV content business, we also deliver bespoke consultancy focusing on all aspects of the TV media business. But the overriding sort of direction or question that we're always following and intrigued by is, why do audiences make the choices that they do? We're partnered with the French research company Glance, and together we hopefully can provide a powerful synergy of the qualitative and quantitative. In terms of China itself, I began working there back in 2006. So hopefully, I hope anyway, that I've gleaned some useful insights about the market and how it interacts with the outside world, outside of China. Next slide. Moving on. Okay, a little bit about the market in terms of the key players. My favourite trivia question that I often use here in the UK is, how many TV stations are there in China? Now, I'll give you a moment to think about that, but if your answer was anywhere near 3,000, give yourself a prize, because China truly is a massive market. In terms of the top domestic networked satellite channels, the key players in that space would be Zhejiang TV, Hunan Television, Dragon TV, Jiangsu TV, Beijing TV, and Anhui TV. If you like, they represent the top rank of the linear services in the market. Now, the other end of the spectrum, if you like, of course, we have the OTT or the web and stream services. And key brands in this space would include the likes of ICE, Youku, Tencent, Bilibili, Mango TV. In fact, ICE, Youku, and Tencent are all part of the conglomerate we often refer to as the BAT community. Now, these operators are big spenders. ICE, for example, spent over $700 million on content back in Q2 of 2019. And not surprisingly, China is a highly competitive market, and it's also having to deal with an issue which is affecting broadcasters everywhere. The migration, if you like, from a linear world into a non-linear world, and that battle for existence in those two very different camps. Next up, we're going to talk about the unscripted marketplace. And I've just pulled some very basic stats based on kind of keyword searches in this world. Now, China has been for a number of years an avid consumer, if you like, of unscripted, entertainment-focused TV formats. Domestic versions of The Voice or the Got Talent franchise, they've long proved to be valuable, potent ratings winners in the market. And in parallel to that entertainment focus, there are a lot of in the factual space. And the factual space actually dominates the market, 62% versus 38%, if you like, the split here. And if we dig a bit deeper, what's particularly interesting is that the factual sector of the market is heavily dominated by documentary. Around about 78% of the shows we looked at fell into that particular category. In terms of the entertainment space, the formats really that dominate that area would fall under the entertainment reality heading or reality competitions. They tend to be the two big dominant forces in the market. Now, of course, the focus on international source formats has been shifting in recent years. There's been a growing interest in developing a domestic format industry. And ultimately, China intends and plans, I'm sure, to become a leading exporter of IP, rather than simply relying on the importation of audience-pleasing ideas. So I'm going to give you an example now. We're going to talk about a show that's currently airing on Mango TV. The English title, Sisters Who Make Waves. I'll give you a very quick summary of the format. Centers on 30 female celebrities, all of whom are aged over 30. And they're going to be competing to become part of a 5-member girl group. Under the catchphrase 30 Dark Horses, Return to Youth, the format sees the participants undergo 3 months of intensive training. They also get to live with each other, so we have a strong reality dimension as well. They are rated by mentors, initially divided into 6 groups, and they have to perform a variety of songs. Now, as the series progresses, some of the sisters are eliminated, and ultimately we end up with a group made up of the most successful, talented performers. Now, key to this format's appeal is obviously the celebrity mix, those faces that the audience will recognize. Also, the talent search process is one that has proved very popular with the Chinese audience, even if in recent years it's been very hard to find new ideas that can make use of that particular format structure. Now, what has helped the show find a following is that focus on women aged 30 plus and that whole idea of starting again. Indeed, the show taps into if you like, a shifting social presumption that many women can walk their own path and determine their own destiny. In other words, it's a very timely show, and it's found a great resonance with the audience on Mango Television, and is probably one of the most talked about shows currently airing. Okay, we're going to now shift the focus over into the scripted space. Interesting to note that there is still a very high volume of drama being produced in the marketplace. Across linear and web platforms, around about 140 examples have aired so far in 2020. And what I've done here is I've just sort of used those keyword searches to differentiate the various groups of dramas between television and web, just to see where the different preferences exist, if you like, a scatter chart. Now, what that kind of shows is that both crime and kind of relationship-led dramas are often found on the web. And in fact, crime has become a bit of a phenomenon this year and is really proving to be an audience grabber at the moment. If we go over to period drama, that's something that still is really that it finds its home more on the linear services. So again, a little differentiation in terms of the genre types. Love stories tend to be spread evenly between the two. And interestingly, at the bottom there, you can see youth-oriented stories. Obviously, the web is often used younger characters to try and bring a similarly profiled audience to their services. So audiences do like to see themselves reflected on screen. So it's quite a clever ploy in that sense. And probably what's most interesting equally is the fact that medical, drama and comedy are relatively minor genres on either traditional linear television or on non-linear television. Okay, let's go over and look at a particular example of a web drama. In this case, I'm going to talk briefly about a show called The Bad Kids, which has recently aired on ICE. Whilst we don't have ratings, you know, as is traditional with the OTT services around the world, they don't tend to release ratings per se, but we do know have reports on sort of views of hashtags and that sort of thing as a measure of audience reaction. And the show reportedly received over 4.3 billion views on China's Weibo service. So I think we can assume it was a pretty successful show for them. So what's it all about? 3 youngsters inadvertently witness a murder. A cat and mouse narrative then ensues, which sees the teens try and stay just one step ahead of the murderer, even as other tragic events unfold around them. So what factors have contributed to its success? Well, it has to be said that being based on a popular novel does help, a bit of pre-sold IP, if you like. But also, I think the intense style of storytelling and a narrative that really barely gives the audience pause for breath. And there is clear evidence here of an approach which is already being used by some of the big OTTs in the West. This idea of a short run lifespan, just 12 episodes, released in a binge-worthy schedule that tempts you to keep viewing. And every episode ends with a major twist or surprise, pushing the audience again and again just to watch just one more episode and to draw them back at every possible juncture. So this is very much a departure from the, if you like, the more traditional 40-plus episode model, which often uses a very leisurely sort of pacing and doesn't have the kind of dramatic highs and lows. So it's kind of a new phenomenon, this show. Okay, one more we'll talk about briefly is called Skate into Love, which has aired across a variety of platforms, Jiangsu TV, Zhejiang TV, and over on the streamer Youku as well. The story centers on a long-term relationship between a boy and a girl. It's a romance, as the title suggests. Follows them from their early days at elementary school through to their reconnection when they meet again at university. And the backdrop is their mutual interest in speed skating, ice hockey, everything to do with sport on ice. Now, while the nature of their relationship has changed over the years, what I think is immediately obvious is that we know they are destined for each other, despite rival loves, a troublemaking school beauty, and awkward and obstructive parents. Now, for the Chinese audience, that campus backdrop, the setting, is an immediate plus, as is the basis in a popular novel. However, if you like, what underlines the series' appeal with the audience is the idea of if you like, a singular relationship, the I only have eyes for you ideal that sees the central couple overcome all the hurdles in front of them and find each other once again. Very compelling focus to the story. Okay, we're going to just quickly flip on to drama adaptations. And what I've tried to do here is I've just looked at this year and a little bit of next year in terms of some of the ideas that are being imported into the market and being reversioned locally. And as you can see, Japan, perhaps interestingly, proves to be a much favoured country of origin, with around 6 series adaptations either in the works or have happened. The UK follows up with a couple, South Korea with a couple, and then one each from Sweden, the US and Australia. Now, whilst the overall volume isn't particularly high, in terms of partnering with foreign production companies and creative teams, it is encouraging to see where we are. And hopefully this is just the beginning of an area of the business which is going to expand further. And then finally, I just want to talk very briefly about, if you like, the export of Chinese TV content. Very simple chart here just to show the differentiation between scripted and unscripted and where their main markets are. And if you look, hopefully you can see and differentiate the colours. Chinese drama, big seller in markets such as Vietnam, Singapore, Malaysia, and Japan to a degree, perhaps no surprise there. Unscripted, lower volumes overall, and does tend to be heavily oriented around the factual end, and particularly the documentary space. Entertainment formats haven't yet really broken through internationally. But again, that's hopefully for the Chinese market, something that will happen soon. Okay, that kind of wraps up my very quick review of China. Now we're going to move on to the panel discussion. So I'd like to invite the panelists to join me, and we'll go through as many questions as we possibly can. And as Lunita said, we have Lester Hu from Hunan Television, Mr. Zhou Yuan from Linmon Pictures, and Manman Chen from Wekids. So, afternoon, gentlemen, everybody there. I think we're all present. Morning to you all. Afternoon to you all.
Afternoon. So, good afternoon.
Good, we can hear you all. Good, everyone good? Yeah. Right. What I'll do is I'm going to go around each of you. I'm going to, perhaps you could talk a little bit about your company and what you do there, and then I'll get into a specific question that I think is appropriate to you. So perhaps we can start with Manman from Wekids. Perhaps you can tell us a little bit about the company.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Paul, and thank you, Anita. And good afternoon and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's my honor to be at this online session. My name is Manman Chen. I'm from Wekids, and I'm the founding partner and COO in Wekids, and also I'm in charge of content development and international cooperation. Wekids is the company that provide the best-in-class animation series from around the world to kids and families in Greater China. And we oversee the licensing and merchandising, toy distribution, and ancillary exploitation of key properties, including all aspects of brand management. And we are also developing new animation series throughout original creation and international co-production. Our headquarters right now in Beijing, and the office is in Shenzhen, and for toy selling and license and merchandising, an office for acquisition in Hong Kong, and art studio in Suzhou. And we lately established a new office in Vancouver, Canada for international cooperation. So that's who we are.
Fantastic, thanks for that review. Now, your company has many partnerships with global players. And just tell us how long these has taken, perhaps, to build such a network. And what were the key steps in initiating and keeping that process going?
Okay, it takes more than like 6 years, and we now have over 120 titles in our catalog. For most of them are, kids animation series, mostly on preschool and to 6 to 9. And we distribute over, 10,000 episodes to China's major broadcasters with a total of over 15 billion views in China. I think the reason why we achieve that is not only because we pick the good content and just buy and sell, but we can say that we manage IPs creatively, such as we have our in-house localization team. We redesign all the titles of each IP into a Chinese version, and we do a lot in IP promotion, social media, and things like that, which makes it easier for the the Chinese audience and also the platforms to accept new contents, and also give us a really good reputation in the industry.
So not something that happened overnight. You had to work long and hard at it, but ultimately that network has been the kind of backbone of the business, really.
Exactly.
Okay, let me move over to Lester Hu from the R&D Center at Hunan Television. Hi, Lester. Again, perhaps you can just give us a quick run through of what you do and tell us a little bit about Hunan Television.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Lester from Hunan TV. I'm responsible for the formats and international business. As many of you may have known, Hunan TV is one of the leading entertainment content producer and broadcaster in China. We have been in a market leader position in terms of the advertising revenues as well as ratings over the past 22 years. Hunan TV is a very female skewing channel, and we're targeting the younger audiences of the nation. And we have the biggest share basically with demos under 23 and 35 as well. And I think that our biggest asset is really our in-house production capability, where we have about 26 to 30 in-house producers, in-house production studios, where they will do their pitch every month, and we will work on the content creation together. And so, yeah, overall content innovation is really at the heart of what we do. And yeah, so we are looking forward to working with international distributors, creators, producers, and bring up new IPs together. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Lester. Now, I remember the last time I think we saw each other was at MIP or MIPCOM. I'm trying to remember now. But I remember you were talking you had a session talking about your relationship and collaboration with Armoza and Endemol Shine, and also the MIP format competition. So just tell us a little bit about the ups and downs of that particular experience, and how it worked out for you.
Okay, we used to do format acquisitions, and these days we've shifting to format co-development as part of our new strategy, working with international partners. And we've been working with many big industry players around the globe, including Fremantle, Endemol Shine, Armoza Formats, Nippon TV, etc. And there are many challenges along the way. I think business-wise, it's basically a new business model that you need to achieve an agreement with those distributors who used to do a different kind of business model in China. So we are looking at how we can co-invest in new original IPs, how we can share the risks and also share the possible revenues in the future. So it's totally a new logic behind what we do at the moment. And also culturally it's challenging because, for example, before the success of Sing or Spin with Endemol Shine, we did a pilot before that called Acting Up. It was a very, very new concept where we combine some of the very typical Western reality element with our dating element altogether, which is more acceptable in our market, but then it doesn't work. So yeah, there were ups and downs, but at the end of the day, we're really looking to work with the best, some of the best producers around the world to take the more formatable element with our unique storytelling to achieve success at the end of the day. Yeah, I think it's a very interesting experience, and we are looking to work on more projects in the future.
Okay. Any other things you've learned from that process that you'd like to enact in the next?
Overall, it's a learning process for both sides. For us, what we learned, a more effective way of doing co-development is actually to find a really strong idea that kickstart everything that's following that process. So in the case of Sing or Spin, we were talking about what kind of programs we can do, and music genre, music genre is definitely something we're looking at the moment. And then we took an idea, which is a very strong visual element of a Spinner stage. And then we start to build on that concept into something that is so Chinese entertainment, you know, weekend primetime show, Shiny Floor, which is, you know, very, very exciting for us. And we're about to do a second season this Q4.
Okay, so things are just moving forward very quickly by the sound of it. Okay, let's move on to Mr. Zhou Yuan from Linmon Pictures. Mr. Zhou, now you were at the Shanghai Media Group up until 2014, but you helped found Linmon, and it's now regarded as one of the more innovative entertainment content providers, focusing on that kind of next generation of consumers. Perhaps you can just sort of top up that overview of the company and what your role is.
Sure, no problem. Hello, everybody. My name is Zhou Yuan, and I'm the founder and the EVP of the Linmon Pictures, one of the, we call it largest independent studio now in China.
Oh dear. think we have a slight technical glitch here. Mr. Jock, can you hear me? I think we've got a little bandwidth issue here.
In China, and now we since 2020, and Linmon has been becoming bigger and bigger. We are now one of the largest independent studio now in China. And each year we produce approximately 100 hours high quality TV dramas for China market. Our clients are mostly the most independent Linmon TV providers and the OTT platform, including like Hunan TV, Zhejiang TV, Dragon TV, and Jiangsu and Beijing TV. For the OTT platform, we are also working very closely with iQIYI, Tencent, and Youku together. Yes.
Okay. So, in terms of your focus, would it be fair to say that your focus is across both linear and non-linear worlds?
Actually, we've been working since our since the Linmon Pictures has been founded. We always been focused simultaneously in linear TV and the OTT platform simultaneously. But now the biggest challenge comes from the platform of short video platform like Chinese version of TikTok. I can give you one example.
Sure.
Last Tuesday, one of our leading TV drama called 20 You Like Song, is kind of Chinese version of Gossip Girl, has been starting the broadcast in Hunan TV broadcast 2 days ago. And now it's becoming the #1 of the Hunan TV's prime times rating nationwide. It's #1 nationwide. But the second day, it's going to be broadcasting iQIYI platform. But now it's becoming the #2 in iQIYI platform. But simultaneously, we've been already generating 20 million viewers in TikTok platform. So our biggest challenge is how to manage those relationships, how to manage the content views across all the platform, but not only the linear TVs and OTT, but also the short video platform, including TikTok. So it's becoming one of our last challenge. 2 days after, we got another TV show is going to broadcast on Dragon TV and Tencent simultaneously. But in 2 weeks, we need to manage the SVOD windows, linear TV windows, AVOD windows, and TVOD windows in 2 weeks to maximize our views and the revenues. So it is something totally different compared with the international experiences. It's going to be our biggest focus in the future.
I see. Okay. Okay. Well, thanks for the top picture on the companies and for answering those questions. I'm now going to sort of open it up a little bit with some very broad questions for you all. So I'm going to start with Leicester. And my question to you is a small question. What's the best way to work with China?
It's indeed a very broad question.
It is.
So if you look at the non-scripted format business in China, there has been a lot of changes. So I think I can't say what's the best way to work with us, but for us, we are really looking at the best talent around the world to work together to create a new IPs. So along that process, it's quite important because we've tried many ways. So at the very beginning, we start from scratch, something never existed before, and then we start to bring storming and exchange ideas. There is a regular pipeline where we exchange our ideas and that stuff, and we do regular meetings. And then it worked, and we worked on a pilot, but it didn't work out very well. So we changed another way where we start with something on paper already. And from that point, as I just mentioned, we had our success on Sing or Spin. So we are actually exploring this whole process together with our partners. So it's not something that's already there. but then it's something we explore together. And then when we working, when we are working with our Moza formats, it's another case. So it's really a case-by-case basis. But overall, I think the really important thing to work with a Chinese partner is the flexibility and adaptability as well, because the market changes so quick. Not only on the regulation side, but also because of the audience, their tastes, their preferences is changing all the time, and even us is navigating all those changes. And together with working with international partners is difficult. It's worth the try to bring up something, you know, that will wow everyone. We've been enjoying the whole experience, but you know, it's an adventure that we would like to take with our international partners.
Okay, thanks for that. Okay, perhaps I can ask Mr. Zhou the same question. What do you think are the key? Is the key to forming relationships with Chinese companies?
I think the key of the collaboration between the Chinese entertainment industry with the foreign one is to be the confidence. I mean, you need to be very much rely on each party's understanding of the both market to be better leverage on both parties' talents and the market to build up the one project. It's kind of co-create something. I mean, I've been working with Disney's and Sony's team in many years of some new IP creation in both film industry and TV and the film industry. It's been very hard to in the first 2 or 3 years to build up the this confidence of each other between two teams, people coming from two different cultural backgrounds.
Okay, so we have confidence, flexibility.
Yes.
Man, can I bring you in here and give your thoughts?
Okay, so first of all, I totally agree with Lester and Mr. Zhou, because even though we are more focusing on kids content, but we also get through all the, you know, the time of cooperation. And it is a big question, but I'm gonna throw out a really tiny point is that technically, I would suggest that everyone just install WeChat on your phone. I know most of you guys have a WeChat ID, but still some of you are not. You know, using WeChat not only for like sending messages, not only for, you know, images or videos, but it's more like a proper way to instant communication. You know, communication is really important. Not, you know, anytime we don't need any, you know, weekly call or whatever, but instant communication. You're gonna know your partner. You're gonna know what he like, and you're gonna know some of the Chinese culture just through chatting on WeChat. So it's you know, just a tiny point.
No, it's a big one, because I think everybody still assumes, or as many people do, that email is still the way of keeping in touch. But in fact, WeChat is kind of leapfrogged over that technology completely.
Exactly.
Just before we go on to the next question, I just missed a point. I should have mentioned that there is going to be a polling segment taking place in the background. So please take part, anybody watching today. It's always good to hear your input in that way. So moving on to my next question, could you perhaps give us an example of a project that you've completed with an international partner? Perhaps I can begin with you, Lester.
Just a second. Something pops out.
Oh, you got the polling.
Okay. Yeah. So a project. As I was always talking about Singapore, Spain, there is an interesting part we've never done before with all other partners in the past. Basically, our relationship with Animal Shine is a co-development structure. So after we have a success of Singapore, Spain on television, then what's followed is our co-investment in the international distribution of the format. So we stepped into a brand new phase where we work together on the production Bible of the format. And what's very special is that Animal Shine sent a group of producers from London, and we shoot an international promo for this format based on our local set. So that's an interesting story because in the past we buy the format, we produce our own localized version, and then that's it. But then this time after the local production, we worked on the international promo, and we see how the producers from Animal Shine is, making sense more for the international market. Something they add on to the format, something they remove from the local version. So it's an interesting dialogue going on. And then at the moment, I believe people are talking about the format internally, inside the group, inside the animal group. And hopefully we will see some progress by the end of the year.
Okay, when the manager dust settles.
Oh yeah, yeah. A lot is going on at the moment.
A lot is happening there, but
yeah.
Okay, thank you for that, Lester. Okay, so Mr. Joe, perhaps you can just, if you were to, what's the first project you can think of where you've been involved with an international partner, and how did that go?
Actually,
Oh, we've lost you.
From the film market, we've been working one of the features project with Sony Pictures. It's going to be released normally this summer, but after COVID-19 problem, it's a suspend. But because I think the feature market is probably more internationalized than TV one, so we've been starting working on feature projects first.
Okay, okay. Manman, perhaps I can turn to you and you can relate us an anecdote or two about experiences you've had with international partners.
Yeah, there's one lately we developed, with some, international creators. Is the preschool show called the Tan and Joto Show, and that one is we have our own our idea, and we, every year there are kind of different markets, international markets, and we meet lots of producers and writers from international market. And at Annecy last year, we met two guys from South Africa, which is really far away from China, But those guys are gentlemen, and also a lady. They're very nice writers. We spent half a year to develop the show together, to make the pitch Bible and make the promo, the script, and try to make the pitch to Kiss Screen, to Europe and the North America broadcasters. Right now we are cooperate this, this project with Canadian broadcasters. So it's a good one. And they're saying that, people in the kids content industry, most of them are the same, especially when talking to some really good concept. It feels like you go back to your childhood. So it's probably easier for us to, to cooperate with the right people. We met with mistakes or failures in other projects, but for this one, most of things gets really fluent, really smooth. Yeah.
Oh, it's good to hear. Good to hear.
Thank you.
That leads us on to, if you like, what would you like to have? What's the dream package when somebody comes to you? Is it primarily the relationship? Is it the talent of the creatives, or the writer, the producer, director, or is it purely pivoted around the content itself? Which is the priority? Perhaps I can start with you, Lester.
Priority, I think, is always the content. It's the idea, or is the power that you can generate. Great quality ideas where we can, work on, where we can build on. But then in terms of a co-development deal, we usually expect a basic package of a small team of experienced developed people with proof track records of what they've, created before, what's their genre, what's the expertise. So that sort of thing we will consider first. And if we have something that's ready for a pilot production, for example, then we will consider again what other talents we can use from the global market. For example, when we did the pilot of Acting Up, we were working with Animal Shine, but then we hired a writer from Japan because we think that there was a space to work together to draw in some Japanese style dating reality element inside. And then we were working with the Sing or Span. Then we were trying to find who is the best set designers around the global market. So it's also a case-by-case scenario, but at the very beginning, it's always about the content, the idea, and the people that you're invested in our project.
Okay, thanks, Lester. Mr. Joe, perhaps I can turn to you.
I would say there's two things I'm primarily looking for from international market. And the first of all is still content. I would say the IP or the rights, existing TV series that I can make adaptation for the Chinese version is mainly the first thing that I'm looking for from international market. The second one I would say is the high quality production capabilities, because now for TV drama produce TV drama in China is very expensive now, and I'm looking for the high quality production capabilities in probably in the Asian countries that can be delivered to both China and the Pan-Asia market.
Okay. Manman, perhaps from your point of view, what would you prioritize?
Yeah, for sure. Well, for us, since if it's 3 years ago, probably I would agree that the content is the very best way, because we're buying things. But right now, since we are focusing on developing our own content, and we also contribute a lot in the relationships. So I have to say, right now, I'm more like the talents, like writers or directors and producers from other countries or from other territories, which help us to produce a really unique show for the kids. Yeah.
Okay, so kind of looking at you collectively, it's from across the board, everything from the idea itself through to finding talented creatives, producers, writers, whatever. The whole package sometimes would be great.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. A quick question, just to round up this sort of group section, is what's really stopping foreign sellers from achieving success in the market? What's their biggest hurdle? Is there something that they should do that they really are not doing at the moment, or any thoughts? Perhaps I can start with you, Lester, on that one, just as a quickie.
I think the biggest reason here is, for us, it's really getting difficult to find a format out there that can be an instant fit for us. All of the big brands are either consumed or they are not even workable for China at all. So for us, it's really the way to go for original development as well as co-development. And other thing is that many of the distributors, the sellers, they haven't really realized this more changing or diversity requirements from the broadcasters like us. So I think they need to get a bit more understanding of the changing market, and as well as a new strategy for the market.
Okay. So do your homework, basically.
I mean, people need to understand that it's a very complex market. It's probably a unique market that haven't existed anymore in the world. Like I said before, there's no really clear rule for the windows. So you need to figure out how to sell your rights coordinated way. So I mean, people from outside of China who need to work with China need to take time, and take time to learn languages, learn cultures, and this is going to be the biggest barrier for working with China.
Sure. Okay. Manman.
Well, I totally agree with the two gentlemen. The similar answer. Yeah, you need to know your audience, know the changing market. Yeah.
So don't walk into the market blindly. Make sure you understand it as fully as you can. Do your homework.
Yep.
Okay. I just thought it would be worth maybe focusing on you individually with your own unique question for this next stage. So I'd like to begin with Mr. Zhou. And the question I have for you is, you mentioned that web and linear TV series are important to you. How do you differentiate between them? What are the things that you use to separate those two different spaces?
Good question. I mean, if you were asking this question, I mean, 2 or 3 years before, maybe I will give you a clear answer. But now it's really difficult to give you a clear answer, because, as I said before, I'm dealing with 5 windows simultaneously with 3 major platforms. There's no such as web series or TV series or TikTok series. There's just no such kind of notion or clear differentiating in China, because it changes every year. I mean, China is probably the most advanced market in the world in terms of how to merge those concept together into one content. So once we develop a new project, we need to understand the audience from each platform, from each format, what they are waiting for. So there's no clear vision of the web series or linear series very clearly now in China. So I'm afraid that I cannot really give you a clear answer of this question.
But that's information in its own sense. So yeah, I understand. So it's much more of a case-by-case process, really. Each project has to be looked at.
1 year ago, once you said period drama is kind of linear TV's content, but now it's purely a TV web series, web series. So you cannot kill once you broadcast your period drama TV series in broadcasting OTT platform. You called it a web series, but it doesn't make sense.
That's a complicated, fast-changing marketplace, isn't it? Yeah, I understand. Okay, perhaps I can turn to Lester, and we could talk a little bit about the steps that you've taken to monitor the global market, and also how you built the creative process within your teams. You talked about your producer teams in-house. You know, what have you done to sort of build that skill base?
Okay, so first, over the past 10 years, we've been sort of, build a relationship with most of the major distributors around the world. So, regularly we receive their newsletters, their updates, their reports on what they're doing, what's the new projects. And so that's a traditional way for us. And really recently, we've been working with international consultancy companies, which has been a more and more important resources for us to get more understanding of what's going on, what's happening around the globe, around the international market. And so I think really, personally, I think that working with TAPE consultancy is my personal recommendation.
Oh, thank you.
It's very, very useful for our work.
Well, thank you for that work.
Yeah, internally, we have a team of different languages. So we have people who is looking after the US, the UK, English-speaking territories, and we have people looking after South Korea market as well as Japan market. So we kind of, use our connections in the all local markets to get a better understanding of what they are looking for or what's the possibilities out there. And for our internal creativity, what we've done recently is to build up a content incubation system we call View Project, where we will combine the global resources, global talent with our in-house production teams. So they will do their monthly pitch. So we will select and see the potential and try to find, diamond in the rough.
Oh. I think we've lost you a bit, Lester. Or maybe we need to put some more money in the meter.
Okay, a full series or not? Yeah.
We lost you a little bit there, Lester, but I think we got a good picture of what you were saying. I think it was your bandwidth just went for a second, but yeah, just that last bit about the creativity in the teams, how you manage and build that.
So it's really in different steps. And we will use the pilot system to test if that idea is solid or not. Is it ready for a full series? So it's really a step-by-step process where we will make sure that everything we broadcast will be, not a big hit, but then a satisfying result, satisfying success. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. Manman, I'll turn to you just to finish up this section, really. Can you tell us how Wekids has adapted to the changes and the evolution of the Chinese market? I mean, it's obviously been a bit of a roller coaster ride. I mean, how do you manage that process? How do you keep up with everything?
Yeah, just like we said, things changes a lot in China, continuously. Like in the past 5 years, we import many, kids content to China from all over the world. But from last year, there's a saying from the government that the government will more like encourage local content, instead of the foreign content. So to face the changes, we 1.5 years ago, we established our studio in Suzhou, getting started to create our own concept. And we use our relationship in the past 5 years with the producers and also the broadcasters internationally, try to find the proper partner to co-develop the content. So yeah, this is what we do, what we have been done to face the changes.
Okay, okay. Just one little quick question, just to wrap up with you, Manman. I was reading about the China Tales Incubator. I was curious, could you tell us a little bit about that project?
Oh yeah, this is one of the attempts that we did, on the co-production and co-development. The China Tales Incubator is a kind of program established by Wekids, Nirvana, and Toonboom. Nirvana and Toonboom are all subsidiaries of the Chorus Media Group in Canada, right? They're big names. And we built up the relationship, when we acquired the content. And in 2018, we established the incubator program. Our goal is to find the original concept with the potential in the international market from within China and develop together, following the international process and standard, different from, you just build a property yourself and try to sell to the market. It's different. So we introduced the expertise from Canada to China, and we spent like 2 months, run over 6 workshops in different cities in China, try to tell the artists in the industry what the process and what you should do to develop your concept. And we collect more than 100 titles from all the cities in China, and using some of the process like internal pitching or things like that. And we finally find one project, a girls show called Dreamweavers, and to be the winner of the first season. And right now that show is under development between Wekids and Nirvana and Toonboom. We're hopefully to see the promo later this year. And by the meantime, we also run through the process. We have a partnership with Nirvana, but we also look for the next partner, run another China Tales Incubator. We try
it never stops, does it? It just carries on.
Embrace the Chinese stories to the world. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Okay. Excellent. Well, just a bit of a summary so far of everything. I want to wrap that up by just asking a very, very hopefully optimistic crystal ball question about the future, about the next 12 months to 2 years. What do you think is the most positive forecast for the marketplace in the next couple of years? What do you think are the big moves that might be becoming evident in that period of time? Perhaps Lester, any thoughts on that?
I think it's particularly after this unsettling times, everyone is really looking for a comfort from entertainment TV. For us, that's our expertise. And what we'd really like to try or see in the future is the rollout of Chinese formats, which is what we are working on very, very hard. We've been working with the Story Lab or a Smart Dog, for example, on some of the titles. And also, we just launched a brand new dating show called Key to Heart, which is which has achieved great success as well with the brand new concept. And we're talking to a few, big distributors at the moment to see if there's a potential. So that's something we have confidence and we have our belief, and we want to see how that will work in the future.
Cool. Excellent. Mr. Zhou, any points for optimism?
I would say that for the next 20 months, the biggest thing is still the TikTok. It's going to be a challenge for the whole entertainment industry because it's going to absorb a lot of attention from the users for both TV and the online video platform, but it's going to offer an opportunity for entertainment industry too. I mean, if the content, from the content side, if you are capable to provide or to produce those new formats that can be involved the short videos users for both script and non-script content, is going to be a big opportunity too.
So that user-generated original content could be a big step in the future. Yeah. Okay. Manman, any thoughts?
Well, I have to say, even though I said that probably at this part of time, the Chinese government are more encouraged local content, but we can see that after the COVID-19, the long period that kids and parents stay at home, there's a increasing demand of requirement of the, kids content, especially preschool, on either it's comedy or educational or entertainment. So edutainment content. Also, yeah, entertainment. So far as I know, there are lots of talents that are from either from Europe, like from UK, or from other regions in Asia, really have many good shows in this region, or have really experienced to help the Chinese studios and the producers to develop the proper kids content. So I think there's still really potential in the collaboration of the new content.
Okay, excellent. Okay, right, we've got a few minutes left, so I just wanted to see if we can pull in a few of the questions that our audience has sent in. So again, fast and furious, so we get as many in as we can. A question probably for you, Mr. Zhou, to begin with. How does the Chinese market react to comedy? And what kind of, what are the predominant, most effective, whatever you want to call it, forms of comedy in the marketplace?
Comedy represents one of the difficult production formats for us, even for our experienced producers and experienced studios. I mean, China is not very strong on comedy production for the TV market. So I have never seen any foreign formats has been work for China in terms of comedy. So I'm afraid that I can say that comedy is not going to be a very good path that to work on the international collaborations.
Often the way comedy is a very difficult thing to make travel, isn't it, internationally? Yeah, I understand. Okay, Manman, perhaps I can turn to you. And a quick question we had: would you co-produce or buy finished animation?
Well, I have to say we are still buying, but during this part of time, during 2020, I think we will be really careful to evaluate before buying the finished animation this year. And I think we would prefer to get involved into a project at a very early stage, no matter it's local project or it's a foreign project. Like we're gonna invite us as a co-development or a co-produced project together. Yeah.
Okay. Here's one for any of you. Dive in. What genres do you think the buyers in China are most interested in? Again, it's a very broad question, I know, but are there particular ones that kind of leap out? We've heard that comedy is difficult. Let's be a bit more positive. What are the ones that everyone's interested in? Manman.
Well, if we say it's kids shows, comedy still have some space, especially for preschool, because you don't have to face any conflicts or differences between the races, different national countries, cultures. So comedy is still some, but and also actions, or just like I said, the edutainment, the educational or entertainment, for kids shows. Yeah.
Cool. Lester, any thoughts?
I think I agree that comedy is difficult, and for us, cooking competition is difficult. Quiz show with big cash prize is difficult, and some lifestyle programs is not really for us. But then for Hunan TV, I think shiny floor, non-scripted entertainment, big scale entertainment, and that's something we will be more interested in.
Okay, Mr. Zhou.
Excuse me, what was the question again?
Really about, in terms of drama, are there particular genre spaces that you think are particularly positive for the Chinese market in terms of what the buyers are looking for?
Okay, I'm working TV dramas, exactly. So, I mean, for the TV drama, 95% of the market is being dominated by the Mandarin languages content. So for the last 5% for foreign content, I mean, probably the romance and the relationship-based content has a little bit of a chance.
Okay, well, I'm looking at the clock and I see that we're 2 minutes before 10 here in London. So I guess we've probably exhausted everybody back in their office chairs or wherever they're watching today's session. So I think we'll probably try and wrap up at this point. Hope everybody appreciates the candor and the information that we've received from our panelists. Also like to thank Lunita for organising such a great session. Hope it's illustrated some of the challenges that you face when you want to expand your footprint into the market. The last couple of months have been a bit of a journey for ATF. The Plugged In Series 2020 has looked at as many Asian markets as possible. And from my point of view here at Tape Consultancy, it's been great to be part of it. Hopefully there'll be more sessions in the future, so keep an eye out. So thanks again to the panelists, really appreciate your time. And take care, be safe, and see you soon. All the best. Bye-bye.
Thank you, bye.
Thank you, bye-bye.